Till now we have studied FCFS approach and shortest job first approach. In case of FCFS, we have seen the selection function is nothing but what then the process with the lowest arrival time that we have to select for the execution purpose, and the decision mode is non-preemptive. Whereas in case of shortest job first, the selection function is we have to maintain the ready queue as per the arrival order. But if we do have more than one processes into the ready queue, then at that time what will be the selection function? The process with the lowest burst time that we have to select. There we have seen we can have the decision mode as in a preemptive as well as non-preemptive. So now we are moving towards the next scheduling algorithm, that is nothing but what then? Priority scheduling. So in case of priority scheduling, the selection function is what then? Priority of the process. So we know lowest the digit, highest the priority. So if I say the P1, P2, P3, these are the three processes with the priority as in a 1, 2, 3. With the priority as in a 1, 2, 3. So obviously P1 process is having the highest priority than P2 and P3. Okay. And the decision mode is both preemptive and non-preemptive approach. So if I do have more than one processes in my ready queue which are having the different priorities, so we are going to select the process with the highest priority. So let's solve. So we are having P1, P2, P3, three processes with the arrival time 1, 0, 2, with the burst time 2, 3, 1 and the priority 1, 3, 2. Means we are having the process P1 with the highest priority and P2 with the lowest priority. Okay. So by default we have to maintain the queue. So what we have to do? The process which having the lowest arrival time, that first of all comes into the ready queue. So by default we have process P2 into the ready queue. It is the only single process. So whatever may be its priority. Okay. So if we observe here, this is the process with the lowest priority. Although the process with the lowest priority, but it is the only single process into the ready queue. So we have to start the execution with the process P2. So process P2 will continue the execution for how many units? For 3 units. 3 units. But meanwhile, when P2 is doing execution at unit 1, process P1 comes into the ready queue, isn't it? And process P3 comes into the ready queue, isn't it? So when P2 has completed the execution, then only we can select either P1 or P3, because this is non-preemptive approach. So now P1, P3, two processes are there. So out of which P1 process is having the highest priority than P3. So we are going to select P1 process. So P1 will do the execution for how many units? 2 units. P1 has completed the execution. Now which is the remaining process? P3 is the only process. So then P3 will continue the execution and it will do the execution for single unit, that is P3. So from this Gantt chart we can find out the finish time very easily. Finish time of P2 it is 3, of P1 it is 5 and of P3 it is 6. And then calculate the turnaround time and waiting time. So what is the selection function? Priority of the process with the highest priority. Okay, there is a no preemption. A process will complete its execution, then only it is going to select the process from the ready queue. Okay, let's see the another example. So this is our data. P1, P2, P3, P4.